Good afternoon, dear students. Today's topic is electricity. All things are made up of elements. Element is made up of atoms. We know atoms are the smallest particle of matter. According to John Dalton, atoms are indivisible. That is, they cannot be divided further. But according to Rutherford's Goldfoil experiment, atoms are made up of particles like protons, neutron and electron called subatomic particle. Movement of electrons in a material constitutes electric current and generates electricity. Electric bulb, fan, electric iron box, washing machine and refrigerators are some of the appliances which work with the help of electricity. In this lesson, we are going to learn about electric charges, transfer of charges and flow of charges. First, let us see about atom. An atom consists of proton, electron and neutron, which are called subatomic particle. Proton and neutron are found inside the nucleus, which is at the center of the atom. Electrons revolve around the nucleus in a circular path called orbit. In an atom, the number of protons and the number of electrons will be equal. Thus, an atom as a whole is electrically neutral. There is a force of attraction between the protons in the nucleus and the electrons in the orbit. Electrons in the inner orbits are strongly attracted by the protons and they cannot be removed from the atom. But the electrons in the outermost orbits are loosely bound and they can be removed easily. Next, charges. There are two types of charges, that is positive charge and negative charge. Protons carry positive charge and electrons carry negative charge. Unlike charges attract each other and like charges repel each other. That is, positive negative charge attract and the like charges repel. Electric charge is measured in coulomb. Small amount of charge that can be exist freely is called elementary charge. Protons have positive charge and the electrons have negative charge. Since the protons and electrons are equal in number, an atom is electrically neutral. Next, let us see transfer of charges. We know electrons are negatively charged species. Electrons in the outermost orbit of an atom are loosely bound and can be removed. They can be transferred from one substance to another. The substance which gain electron becomes negatively charged and the substance loses electron becomes positively charged. Transfer of charges takes place in the following ways. One is transfer by friction. Next, transfer by conduction, then transfer by induction. First, transfer by friction. Take a comb and place it near some pieces of paper. Are they attracted by the comb? No. Now, comb your hair, dry hair, and place it near the pieces of paper. Now, the paper pieces are attracted by the comb. Comb rubbed with hair gains electrons from the hair and becomes negatively charged. These electrons are accumulated at the surface of the comb. When a piece of paper is stirred into bits, positive and negative charges are present at the edges of the bits. Negative charges in the comb attract positive charges in the bits. So the paper bits are moving towards the comb. While combing hair, charges are transferred from the hair to comb due to friction. From this, it's clear that charges are transferred by friction. Similar effect can be seen when we rub few materials with one another. When a glass rod is rubbed with silk cloth, the free electrons in the glass rod are transferred to silk cloth. It is because the free electrons in the glass rod are less tightly bound as compared to silk cloth. Since the glass rod loses electrons, it acquires positive charge, but the silk cloth has excess electrons, so it becomes negatively charged. When an ebonite rod is rubbed with fur, the fur transfers electron to ebonite rod because the electrons in the outermost orbit of the atoms of fur are loosely bound as compared to ebonite rod. The ebonite rod, which has excess electrons, becomes negatively charged, and the fur, which has deficiency of electron, and positively charged. From this, we can know that when two materials are rubbed together, some electrons may be transferred from one material to another. Next, transfer by conduction. Take a sheet of paper, turn it into hollow cylinder. Tie one end of the cylinder with a silk thread and hang it from a stand. Now, take an ebonite rod and charge it by rubbing it with a woolen cloth. Bring this charged ebonite rod near the paper cylinder. The cylinder will be attracted by the rod. If you touch this paper cylinder by the charged rod, you will see the paper cylinder repelling the rod. Here, when the ebonite rod is rubbed with woolen cloth, electrons from the woolen cloth are transferred into ebonite rod. Now, the ebonite rod will be negatively charged where it's brought near a paper cylinder. Negative charge rod are attracted by the positive charges in the cylinder. When the cylinder is touched by the rod, some negative charges are transferred to paper. Hence, negative charges in the rod are repelled by the negative charges in the cylinder. Thus, we can say that charges can be transferred into an object by bringing it in contact with charged body. The materials which allow electric charges to pass through them are called conductors. Here, aluminium and copper are good conductors of electricity, whereas the materials which do not allow electric charges to pass through them are called insulators. Example, rubber, wood and plastic. Next, transfer by induction. The process of charging an uncharged body by bringing a charged body near to it but without touching it is called induction. The uncharged body acquires an opposite charge at the near end and similar charge at the farther end. Similarly, when a positively charged rod is brought near an uncharged rod, negatively charged electrons are attracted towards it. As a result, there is an excess electrons at the nearer end and deficiency of electrons in the farther end. The nearer end of the uncharged rod becomes negatively charged and the far end is positively charged. Next is flow of charges. Take two metallic spheres, one having more negative charge, that is excess of electrons, and the other having more positive charge, that is deficiency of electrons. Connect them with the help of metallic wire. The electrons start flow from negatively charged sphere to positively charged sphere. This flow continues till the number of electrons in both the sphere is equal. Here, the positively charged sphere is said to be at higher potential and the negatively charged sphere is said to be at lower potential. Hence, the electrons flow from lower potential to higher potential. The flow of electrons from lower potential to higher potential is known as electric current, that is flow of electrons. The difference between these potential is known as potential difference, that is voltage. Before the discovery of electrons, electric current is due to the flow of positive charges. But flow of positive charge is called conventional current. Next one is electroscope. An electroscope is a device used to detect the presence of electric charge on a body. There are two types of electroscope: pith ball electroscope and gold leaf electroscope. An electroscope is made up of conducting materials, generally metal. The electroscope works on the principle that like charges repel each other. Now let us see a simple electroscope. In a simple electroscope, two metal sheets are hung in contact with each other. They are connected to a metal rod that extends upwards and ends in a knob at the end. Bring a charged object near the knob. Electrons will either move out of it or into it. If a negatively charged object is brought near the top knob of electroscope, it causes free electrons to move down into leaves, leaving the top positive. Since both the leaves have negative charge, they repel each other and move apart. If a positive charge object is brought near the top of the electroscope, the free electrons in the electroscope start to move up towards the knob. This means that the bottom has net positive charge. The leaves will spread apart again. Next, gold leaf electroscope. The gold leaf electroscope was developed in 1787 by a British scientist named Abraham Bennett. Gold and silver are used in the electroscope because they are the best conductors of electric current. Structure of an electroscope. It's made up of a glass jar. A vertical brass rod is inserted into the jar through a cork. The top of the brass rod has a horizontal brass rod or brass disc. Two gold leaves are suspended from the brass rod inside the jar. When the brass disc of the electroscope is touched by a charged object, electric charge gets transferred to the gold leaf through the rod. This results in gold leaves moving away from each other. This happens because both the leaves have similar charges. Thank you.